Hey everyone, it's Lulasai. I just finished watching Jiu Jitsu. This is a 2020 movie, and it is one of the movies of all time. Yeah, so take that as you will. There will be some kind of spoilers in here, but there's really no other way to give you a plot synopsis if I didn't go into it a bit. I'm not even sure if I would really call it spoilers. I mean, if I look at the back of this art here, you already see what I'm about to talk about. Um, but yeah, this movie, man, wow, one of the movies of all time. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Now, I had low expectations going in, and I'll have to admit, it actually kind of surpassed my expectations a little bit, but by a very small amount. But I do not recommend it. It's not something that I would see again, which is funny because I just made a video advocating for physical media. But here's a perfect example of a movie that does not need to be physical media. I'm just kidding. Really, everything should be preserved, even if it's not for you. But yeah, I mean, you could compare this to like the Concord of PlayStation 5 physical video games that maybe it could be argued that it should just go straight to streaming service. Okay, so the plot is that Jake, he wakes up with amnesia. And once upon a time, he was, well, I don't think it was that long ago, but the movie makes it seem like it was forever ago, but it wasn't. But he used to be a part of a secret order of martial artists, and this order is tasked with protecting humanity, and they do this by defeating this alien invader warrior named Brax who visits Earth every 6 years. And if the champions of the order refuse to fight, also I believe there's another stipulation. I think if they're too cowardly or something, if the fights aren't up to Brax's liking, then he will invade the entire planet and wipe out all of humanity. So yeah, really everything at the start of the film is a little bit pointless. The whole military stuff just really has no bearing on the film at all. So I wouldn't even really call that a true part of the plot, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but it's the truth. So I don't even need to go into all of the army intelligence stuff and the interrogation scenes because it really doesn't matter. What matters is this alien warrior is now trying to hunt down and kill every single member of this order. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's not a lot to it. In fact, if you read the back of this cover, which normally I wouldn't do because I like to put things in my own words, but I've never seen this before. I've never seen such a short summary. An ancient order of expert jiu-jitsu fighters must face a vicious race of alien invaders, plural, in a battle for Earth where the future of humanity hangs in the balance. Yeah, it's mostly just one alien. So I'm not sure why they're trying to advertise that there's an entire race of these, because technically there's an entire race of Predators, right, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you don't see more than one Predator, and this film is literally a Predator ripoff, so we already have a double false marketing here. We have this little thing I just read on the back about there being multiple alien invaders. I guess technically not a lie, but stretching the truth. And the other false advertising. So Nicolas Cage here on the front. He's the most prominent, he is the most obvious, and he's the biggest name here, right? Here's a tip for you, pro tip. If you ever see something like this, make sure his name is actually the first one on the cover, or in the credits, or whatever. So, you can also check the IMDb page, or the Letterboxd page, but if Nicolas Cage is being this featured, and his name is at the very last here, it says, and Nicolas Cage, that's a huge red flag, because it means that, yeah, I mean, if you look at the back here, he's even the most prominent on the back here. Nicolas Cage, he is the best part of the film, but he's more of a cameo than an actual leading character, to be honest. There's one plot twist, I guess, with him, and it just goes absolutely nowhere. It has zero impact. I did not care about that reveal at all, even though it technically was a surprising thing. In fact, I probably should have seen that coming. I'm kind of ashamed I didn't, but yeah, what do you expect? So, yeah, that's the plot. It's very short. There's not a lot of speaking in this movie. That's the other thing. Let's talk about the positives first. So Nicolas Cage is the best part. Unfortunately, he's not in it very much. The second best part is Tony Jaa, or is it Ha? Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. He is also really good at his craft of martial arts. However, just like in the movie Monster Hunter, which weirdly came out in the same year, also 2020, Tony Jaa does not get to speak very often. In Monster Hunter, I think he either has 0 or 1 sentence worth of lines. I can't remember if it's 0 or 1. And here, in this one, it is 5 or less. So, and I looked it up. Apparently, because I'm not going to claim, I don't want to sound insensitive or anything like that. Don't read into this, but I did look up if Tony Jaa could speak English, just because like I was so confused why have I watched 2 films with him now where he's not talking. Is there a reason for that? So he can speak very fluent English, and I don't know why they don't let him speak in these movies, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Frank Grillo's also here. I completely forgot about him. Frank Grillo is honestly one of my least favorite actors. I don't know, I just find his movies very uninteresting. In fact, this one was probably one of the more notable ones I've seen him in, and I've seen him in a lot of stuff. He is in a lot of stuff, especially in Eastern countries. Yeah, Frank Grillo is usually a red flag for me as well. But Nicolas Cage is not a red flag, even though Nicolas Cage technically has he had, past tense now, had a reputation of doing bad movies. He's not necessarily a red flag for me. I just watched Spider Noir recently and did a review for that, and Spider Noir was fantastic. So Nicolas Cage is not the problem. And I guess Frank Grillo is not the problem. I didn't hate him here. It's just everything I see him in is just so mid. But this movie's far below mid. Other positives, I mean, it's cheesy in a fun way, I guess. It's trying to bring back, a time that we've lost. Like, this is very Power Rangers reminiscent. So it is kind of trying to do something that's a forgotten art, but maybe it's forgotten for a reason, because we've simply outgrown it as an industry. And that's a pretty, nerdy thing to say, but I don't know how else to describe it. The film just doesn't hold up. It doesn't feel like it should be released in the year 2020. And this is supposed to be positive, though. So I will say I've seen a lot of bad movies in my time, and this might not even crack the top 10 worst movies I've ever seen. So it's not unwatchable. It's not entirely unenjoyable. And it did put me in a good mood. I was smiling quite a few times because of how ridiculous it was. So it wasn't the worst thing ever. For negatives now. Alright, negative number 1. The biggest one is, there's so many that share the top spot as biggest problem, but the first one is the main character, Jake. Unfortunately, the guy who acts for Jake, what's his name here? Alain Moussi, he is completely wooden and unenergetic in this movie. He barely lifts a facial muscle. There's no passion involved whatsoever on his part. It was the impression I got. So he's very boring to watch, not the right leading man at all. This movie probably would have been a lot better if Nicolas Cage was the number 1 leading man, or Tony Jaa. Negative number 2, special effects are pretty embarrassing. Kind of reminds me of like YouTube fan films, although I've seen some better YouTube fan films, especially like Star Wars. Especially the shuriken. So here's the thing with the shuriken. I don't know if the like movie makers were like trolling us and they knew how bad it was, but it's like shockingly bad. So here's how it should be done. So how it should be done is you should film a scene that is on the move and action packed and whatever, with a human actor ducking and like trying to evade stuff, right? And then you can put in the shuriken later in post editing. Instead, everything that is sort of what they're trying to do, but with a huge problem. The scenes are so disconnected from themselves because there's no connectivity between the actors and what's happening on screen. So what I mean by that is the humans, instead of bobbing and ducking, dodging, whatever that, dodgeball quote, instead of that, the human actors are, I don't know why I keep saying human, but they're running forward in a straight line towards the camera. They're not moving their head. They're just running in a straight line, and they're getting lucky enough that all these shuriken are just, going past them because they've digitally added the shuriken afterwards. So the problem is, again, he should be ducking, and it should go, like, just think about, like, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, at the very start when the arrow gets shot past, I forget the character's name now, but you know what I'm talking about. When the arrow gets shot past the elven leader's head. That's the kind of stuff I want to see in movies. I want to see some impact and some actual like connectivity between what's actually happening on the scene and what's happening with the actors, especially if there's like green screens involved and stuff like that. So, although I guess this forest shuriken scene technically wasn't green screen, maybe it was, I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty painful to look at. Um, what else? The plot is terrible, unfortunately, and the reason it's so terrible, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it's bad, but the biggest one for me, which really just illustrates why it's so bad. So the bad guy, Brax, he is so ancient that he literally. Although, by the way, why is he trying to pretend like he's honorable when he's literally invincible? It's just, it reminds me of the Predator, who's also cheating in the Predator movies, but much worse than that. So he's not only cheating, but he's literally cheating death. So yeah, he has a very unfair advantage. Not sure why he thinks this is so sporting. But anyways, the main bad guy, Brax, he is actually credited with inventing the martial art of Jiu Jitsu within this film's universe. And he purposely taught humans of old to use this art because he was bored, basically. Like, he was just, he was sitting in his chair all day long playing GTA 5 and fapping or something, I don't know. But he was just too bored for his own good, so he went out of his way to teach the humanity how to give them a chance to defeat him, because he's just that whatever. I mean, he obviously does not say a single word in the entire film either, so don't even get me started. He is obviously not a fleshed out character. We don't really know much about him other than the exposition dumps that are given to us. So yeah, and he shows up every 6 years to just do the same thing over and over again, I guess. And it's also really funny because if he's there to challenge the 9 or 10 whatever best warriors on Earth, how is this secret order guaranteeing that their order has the best 9 or 10? That seems very unlikely. That seems statistically unlikely that they would be able to get all 9 or 10 of the best of Earth's warriors in their order specifically. Also, you would think at least one of those 10 over the 6 year gap, at least one of them would like go rogue and not want to fight and die a horrible death to this alien monster, and Earth would get invaded, but you're not supposed to think about any of that. So yeah, unfortunately, it is a bad movie. Is it so bad it's good? Almost, but not quite. Not for me, at least. So I'm gonna give Jiu Jitsu a 2 out of 10, and I did not press the like button on it, and I would not watch it again personally. But if you personally like this movie, I don't blame you. I can see why. It's, again, not the worst thing ever. It's not completely unwatchable. There is some funny moments here and there. I did smile here and there. And yeah, I mean, the camera work is awkward, but it's also kind of unique in a way. So there's that. And, the action is, I want to say it's good, but it's really not. I mean, like, you would think I would praise the choreography. I praise the individuals for their individual abilities when it comes to martial arts, but when it comes together on the screen, it's not right. Early on in the film, the main enemies are humans, and they refuse to use their firearms effectively. They all go after our heroes one by one at a time, and the camera specifically either avoids their face and or won't show them spawning in the background, because my theory is they're probably using the same handful of stunt actors repeatedly. So every 5 bad guys that get defeated, 5 more have to come, and it's the same 5 guys that just got beaten down, but the camera doesn't want to show you their faces or show you it's the same guy. That's just speculation, but that's what it felt like. So yeah, this movie has severe 1 at a time itis as well. So, Jiu Jitsu 2 out of 10. Thank you for watching this review. Feel free to subscribe, and I will see you next time.